Well, before I read the script here on Mr. Fossum, this is the gentleman that I had the opportunity to interview several times on Good Day, Fox 28, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Let me tell you, this guy is truly a pleasure to be around. He really is, and there's so much about him that I didn't get a chance to know about, and I think we're going to learn that this morning. Terry L. Fossum, born in the poorest city in the U.S., McAllen, Texas, surrounded by gangs, drugs. In junior high, he found himself staring down the barrel of an assault rifle one night in his own back alley. In high school, his father was killed. Before Terry's father died, one of their neighbors came up to his father and said, "I just wanted to make sure you understand something. Not a single one of your boys will ever grow up to be anything." Terry overcame great obstacles to earn his degree in mechanical engineering, became an officer in the United States Air Force, where he was the executive officer for an entire group of nuclear B-52 aircraft and officer of the year at Fairchild Air Force Base. He then started a direct sales company where he set up teams around the globe, became a multi-million-dollar earner. Today, Terry is an internationally renowned businessman, adventurer, philanthropist, author, and keynote speaker, and, as I got to know him, recent winner of season 1 of Fox's new survival reality show, Kicking and Screaming, which really, in some ways, pales in comparison to some of the other things he's accomplished. He's most proud of being a loving husband and dad to 3 young gentlemen. Everybody, please welcome Terry Fossum.
Thank you, sir. Let's do this. Wow, thank you guys so much. I really am happy to be here. And I mean it, because a little over a year ago today, I was in a very different spot. Go ahead and hit the forward button on this, see if this is going to work or not. There we go. That's where I was a little over a year ago today. And would you believe it's a good thing that you can't smell through a TV set? Yeah, it was pretty bad. We didn't shower for over a month, didn't see soap for over a month. By that point, I was starving, 25 pounds lighter, hadn't slept in over a month. But the good news is, by the time that picture was taken, $250,000 richer. Is that okay? I don't know. Let's try kicking that in. Ladies and gentlemen, one moment, please. You got it. And what we'll do, if you can just be ready to hit the button, I'll just point over to you. Okay, cool. So let me ask you guys a question as we're getting started. And I'm going to need some help on this one, because I have backpacked alone by myself in the Arctic Circle. I have hiked into the mountains of Rwanda looking for the elusive silverback gorillas and found them. I have ridden a camel through the deserts of Egypt with people trying to kill me. But 7 years ago, I took off on the most dangerous adventure of all, the most frightening adventure of all of them. Are you ready for this one? Okay, next slide. I got married. But see, y'all already know what I mean, don't you? But see, I didn't just marry my beautiful wife, but I also married her wonderful 3 teenage and preteen boys. Now let me ask you, how many of y'all have children? Why didn't you tell me? Oh my gosh, the screaming. And see, I didn't know this. You got to understand, before this, I lived in a 6-bedroom house all by myself, okay? I had, what's that word I'm looking for? Peace. I had peace. Yeah. And then the screaming and the yelling and the shouting. You think it's going to work? There we go. And the laughing and the singing and the smiles and the hugs. And I got to tell y'all, the opportunity to tuck these boys in at night and go, "I love you, son," and to hear, "I love you too," it's the most amazing feeling in the world. But as you can imagine, it wasn't all easy. How many of y'all are parents again? Okay, cool. Then you guys know, I mean, there was a lot of things that we had to overcome. There was a lot of challenges we had. There was a lot of frustration, which is why they have me talk a lot about overcoming adversity. This thing's not going to work. I'll just have to. No, that's all right. That's all right. Okay, now, let me ask you, how many of y'all, and I'm just going to put this down, I'll just point to you each time if you don't mind. How many of you guys have been successful at anything at all? Raise your hands. Everybody who raised their hands for children should be raising their hands right now, right? Yeah. Now let me ask, what's that? Yeah, roger that. Now let me ask you, is this what the path to success looks like? No, right? That's what they would like it to look like. That's what everybody thinks it looks like. But I can't speak for you. I can only speak for myself. That the path to success looked a whole lot more like that. Is that right? Oh my gosh. Let me ask you this. What happens? Because we've got this idea in our heads, right? We've got our goal. We know what we want to achieve. And correct me if I'm wrong on this. We have the best intentions in mind. We're really going to do it this time, whatever it might be. Maybe it's succeeding in business. Maybe it's losing weight. Maybe it's having a happy marriage. Maybe it's not killing your children. But we have the best intentions, but then they seem to fade over time. Do you know what I'm talking about? They seem to fade, and then pretty soon life starts getting in the way. And before we know it, we're not reaching that goal. Raise your hand if that's ever happened to you in anything. Help me out here. There we go. And for those that didn't, they just failed to raise their hand. That's okay. Now, I made it a goal of mine to literally go around the world and find out why that was true. Not just for myself, because God knows I fall into that category, but for other people as well. Why is it that we start on a goal and we don't reach it? We have all those intentions and all that power and all that motivation. I found something out from the United States Space Shuttle. The Space Shuttle of all things. And when I found this out, this one little secret, it blew my mind and changed my life forever. Would you guys like to see what that was? All right, let's see if this works. Go ahead and hit one more time. Eight relatively tiny bolts. That's it. This is one of them actually from the space shuttle, one of them that launched. 8 bolts hold us back. All of our potential, all of our power, all of our intentions, the things that we want to accomplish with our life, with the years that God gave us, and they're held back by those 8 things. What I'd like to do today, in the time that I've got, is to talk about 3 of those bolts so we can recognize them, because if we can recognize the enemy, we can conquer him. Is that correct? That's exactly correct. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk about those, to take away those bolts, and then I'd like to talk about what that power is that you can use to overcome them. Would that be okay? Okay, you got it. By the way, I appreciate y'all putting up with my voice. You can understand I'm a little bit under the weather right now, but we'll power through it together. Are we okay? Okay, let's talk about that first bolt. Go one more time. The first one to talk about is fear. Now, it's amazing how much fear holds us back. It's absolutely crazy. But let me ask you, how many of you guys are in sales? Yeah, pretty much everybody here, right? In truth, everybody here, right? First of all, we're back to who said you had children? Are you in sales? Yes, you are. I've learned so much over the last 7 years. We all pretty much are, but specifically I'll speak to those who are in sales, traditionally speaking. Now, here's what we look like before that sales call. Is that right? Oh, absolutely. And why is this? Because we know that the person on the other end of the phone is going to say terrible things to us, right? Now, prior military, we have a phrase in there that there's no such thing as atheists in foxholes. Why is that? Because when people are trying to kill you, you find God, right? Well, I'm here to tell you I've never prayed so much as right before a sales call. Can you relate to that? Absolutely, because we know that the guy on the other end of the line is going to go, it costs too much. And then we're going to spend the rest of the day trying to figure out how to get back at him. That ain't right. So let's talk about fear. Now, I had this fantastic thing happen to me just the other day. I was camping on the top of a mountain in the middle of absolutely nowhere. My wife and I were camping. We had our tent. We had our 2 dogs with us. It's getting to be night, and I got to tell you, it was incredible. It was 270 degrees around us of nothing but snow-covered mountain ranges. It was fantastic. There was nobody around for miles and miles and miles. And we've got our fire going at night, and all of a sudden, our dogs go, and they alert on this stand of trees right over there. Now here's the deal though. They're not small dogs. They're not little chihuahuas. They're big dogs, okay? One of them is a golden retriever mix and the other one's a pit bull mix. So obviously they're there to protect me, right? Until both of them suddenly tuck underneath my chair. Guys. So I do the smart thing. I've got a nice warm safe fire, so I stay right there, right? No. I've got to go out and I've got to see what it is that's threatening us. Now, again, this is grizzly country, a lot of mountain lions and such, and I've been chased by a bear. We'll talk about that in a second. I've been tracked by more mountain lions than I know, and the wolves are starting to get more aggressive out there. So I go stepping out away from my fire. Now, understand that all I've got is my tiny little dinky backpacking flashlight, okay? Right? And all of a sudden, guys, boom, I got 2 eyes looking back at me. Now, it's one thing to think that you're being watched. It's another when you got these 2 yellow eyes staring at you. Like, wow. That may not be exactly what I said. Yeah. So I've got to find out what it is because I can't see the animal behind it. So I take a step further and a step further, a step further. And all of a sudden, boom, I got another set of eyes looking at me. Yeah. That's not what I said then either. I take another step, and I got another set of eyes. Now, I got to tell you, I carry with me a .44 Magnum 6-shooter, okay? This is the largest mass production pistol you can get. And now it was time to unsnap it, right? I take another step. I got another set of eyes looking at me. Seriously, this is 100% true. I take another step. I've got another set of eyes looking at me. And it's right at that time that my gun decides to have a problem. Because all of a sudden, it starts vibrating. It's not funny. And I take another step and another step. And then I can finally see what they are. And I am surrounded by a pack of deer. What are they going to do, eat my salad? I'm just kidding, salad doesn't go with whiskey, never mind. See, that's the thing right there. Fear, all too often we think that things are going to be bad, right? It's all about false experiences appearing real. The person on the other end of that phone is not going to kill us, are they? No, usually the thing that we're most afraid of does not happen. Is that correct? Absolutely. Now, let's talk about the next step. People say, face your fears, right? Who's heard face your fears? Help me out. Yeah, you know what? No. I'm going to say absolutely not. Do not face your fears. Go ahead and hit the next slide. Don't face your fears. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Whatever we focus on gets bigger. Is that correct? Absolutely, it gets bigger. Why focus on your fears? I'm going to tell you here today, focus on your goals, and your fears will subside. If you don't believe me, ask, we all heard the story about that dad who had a bear attacking his son. Is that correct? If he were to focus on that bear, he would have never taken action. But on the other hand, he had the goal of saving his son, and he was able to kill that bear with a piece of wood. If you question this, ask that mother whose child was trapped underneath the car. There's no way in the world that she was going to be able to save him. But she didn't focus on that. She focused on the goal. I want y'all to do something for me real quick. Maybe you've seen this before. Give me a big thumbs up. Everybody, give me a big thumbs up. Put the thumb between me and you. So, yep, you're looking through the thumb at me. Okay. Now, what I want you to do not focus on me, focus on your thumb. Everybody look at your thumb. Now, what is in focus right now? Your thumb. No trick question. You got it good. Now, Now, if you're focused on the thumb, can you really see me? Only a little bit, not much, exactly. Now, keep your thumb there. Focus on me. Can you see me? What happened to your thumb? Are y'all with me? That's the deal. Check this out. So, from the show. For those that didn't watch, one of the things that we had to overcome was we had to eat some really nasty things. One of which was a cigar-sized grub, which was live. This is my partner, Natalie. She let me know right before this. She says, by the way, I throw up really easily. Right? Oh, this ain't going to be pretty, right? Now, here's what I did ahead of time, and this helps. Obviously, this applies towards business, towards anything at all. What I told her is, okay, the host, Hannah Simone, is going to try to get you to focus on that grub. She's going to try to get you to focus on how nasty that is, right? Oh, isn't that icky? Look at that big thing. Do not do it, whatever you do. Instead, I want you to focus on the goal. I want you to focus on that charity you're going to help fund because you win this show. I want you to focus on those kids. And don't worry about what you've got to do to get through it. Are y'all with me on this? She did fantastic. She did fantastic because she focused on the goal. Now, instead of the other one, focus elsewhere and rise. I don't want you guys to face your fears anymore. I want you to focus on your goals. And if we do that, then we can blow that bolt. Are we good on number one? All right, give yourselves a hand. Let's do bolt number two. Go ahead. No more excuses, guys. We've got to ban excuses from our lives. It is my opinion that excuses kill more dreams than all the rest of the bolts combined. And do you know why? Because they come from here. They come from us. They're self-imposed. We've got to see the enemy for what it is. So I want everybody to understand that excuses are lies that we tell ourselves because we want to believe it's not our fault. Go ahead. Who's seen the movie Liar, Liar? Isn't that great? Isn't that great? For those that don't know what the premise is, Jim Carrey's character cannot tell a lie. He cannot physically tell a lie. He can't do it. Let's watch a little clip from that right now. That's beautiful. But wouldn't it be awesome if we couldn't lie to ourselves? Because we let our own excuses get in the way all the time, don't we? What would it be like if we couldn't lie to ourselves? Then it'd be like, you're going to have to go with these just real quick, fire them away. Other priorities got in the way. I can't do it because other priorities got in the way. I'm too tired. I don't have an education. I'm too old. Keep them coming. I'm too young. I'll do it later. I have to clean my desk. I have to check my email. I'm not that smart. I'm not that talented. Now isn't a good time. I shouldn't have to. I'm just not ready. It's someone else's fault. I had a troubled childhood. I just don't have the willpower. My favorite show is on. I'm depressed. I ran out of time. I don't know how. My dog died. My goldfish died. Someone else's goldfish died. I once knew a guy in my past whose goldfish died at a very young age. Do you recognize any of these up here? Probably, except for the last one maybe, but I don't know. Listen, here's our new mantra, guys. We were doing it right before this whole show today when the sound wasn't working and the slides weren't working and everything else. There's always a way. There's always a way. Is that correct? It exists. Now, if we have that in our minds, then we understand, then it's just merely my job to find what that way is. Does that make sense? How many times have you had your kids, your employees, your coworkers say it can't be done? Anytime? If we can teach this mantra, there's always a way. Therefore, if it exists, then it's easy. It merely becomes our job to find that way. How much more could we accomplish if we stopped making excuses and we started making progress? Ladies and gentlemen, if we will do that, then we will indeed blow that bolt. You ready for bolt number 3? Before we go on, you guys are doing great. Give yourselves a hand, truly. Judging by some of the reactions I'm seeing, we're getting some progress going on. That excites me. I love that. I love seeing lights come on. Now, bolt number 3. We've got to embrace failure. How many times have you failed? Raise your hand if you've ever failed at anything. Help me out. Of course, right? Was that the end of the road? No, not at all. People see failure as negative. I'm here to tell you, failure is awesome. Are we okay with that? You bet we are. Because listen, you cannot succeed without failing. Is that correct? Would it be helpful if our kids understood that? Would it be helpful if our employees, our coworkers, our bosses understood that when we fail? Dude, that's okay. I'm just working on succeeding, right? See, it's not about a wall. Failure is a stepping stone. You can't get to success without it. Now let me ask you, how many folks have tasted baking powder? Anybody? Anybody? You've tasted baking powder? Why? Was this like a beer bet? Come on. Okay, it was an accident. Cool. And how did it taste? Awful. It tastes awful, doesn't it? Baking powder by itself tastes awful. But you can't bake a cake without it. Are y'all with me on this? We're going to come back to this one in a big way, to this failure thing. But only we can decide if failure is permanent or temporary. After you leave this room today, and I know you guys are successful, you know that, but we all need to be reminded of these things sometimes. Is that correct? Absolutely. Next time we're failing, it's like, awesome, fantastic, right? Good. It's temporary. It is part of the road to success. I love this quote by Michael Jordan, one of my favorite quotes in the world. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been entrusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can get over this failure thing, if we can embrace failure, if we can see it as good, then we can blow that bolt. Are we doing good on that one? That's 3. Give yourselves a hand. But here's the question. Here's the game-winning question right here. In these frangible nuts, they have a little section right here. Can y'all see that section on either one? That's where the explosive charges are that blow this thing right at countdown 3, 2, 1, 0. The question is, what are the explosive charges within us? What is the power within us that will finally let us blow these bolts for good? What's the power in us that's going to make that difference from now on to reach those goals we haven't been able to reach? I'm here to tell you today that it is, without question, passion. Passion's it. It sounds too simple, but it's absolutely true. Apparent miracles have been manifested because of passion. Dictatorships have been overthrown. Diseases have been cured. Things that could never be done have been done because of passion. I love this quote from Ferdinand Foch. He was the supreme Allied commander in World War I. The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. If anybody questions that or the power of it, ask Bethany Hamilton. Do y'all know who she is? You bet. This is the girl, 14-year-old surfer who had her arm bitten off by a 14-foot tiger shark. Now, I don't know about you, but if that happened to me, I would never take a bath again. I'm going to say it. I wouldn't sit on a toilet. It'd be like, no, this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And yet, within 30 days, she was back in the water again surfing. And she is still now today ranked one of the top women surfers in the world today because of her passion for surfing and her passion for inspiring other people. If you question the power of passion, ask Gabrielle Giffords, shot in the head. She was expected never to talk again, never to walk again. Gabrielle Giffords' life was going to be sitting in front of a television set, watching the world go by. But because of her passion, she today is out skydiving. Today she's walking the Grand Canyon. Today she is inspiring millions around the world. The question is, though, what's been the missing link? And I'm very serious about what we're about to talk about right now, and I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings. What's been the missing link? Go ahead. After working with people around the globe, I came to a realization. Because I was doing the thing we've all been taught, which is Focus positively. Focus visually. Set up your dream boards. Think of how great it will be when you succeed. Is everybody with me on this? And I'm not here to negate that, but I'm here to add to it because it is not enough. I'm sorry, but strictly positive motivation isn't enough to kick us in the butt sometime. I know that I was a rather troubled child, and my mom didn't just tell me, you know, you should do good and here's why. She had a yardstick that convinced me otherwise. See, all the time we're focusing on just the positive. I'm here to tell you, listen, this is very important. The fear of loss is a greater motivator than the prospect of gain. Are y'all with me on that? The fear of loss is a greater motivator than the prospect of gain. Let me give you another example. I love my wife. I absolutely love my wife. She is an amazing person. A lot of y'all know my wife. She is an amazing person. I would never cheat on her, right? Because I love her and I want to spend the rest of my life with her. Does that make sense? You know why else I wouldn't? And I say this somewhat tongue-in-cheek. Because she's an attorney and she'd take me for everything I've got. There are two aspects to motivation that we need to work with. I can tell you that the reason I wanted to make money wasn't so I could have a huge house and a fancy car. That wasn't enough for me. But on the other hand, when I would see people poor in their old age, are you with me? That's what kicked me in the butt to keep me going. Now, who knows what it looks like to be charged by a bear? All right, two of us. At that moment, I was not thinking, I need to get away from this bear because I can't wait to have tea and crumpets later, right? No, I got away from that bear because I didn't want him to eat me, right? Are y'all with me on this? So here's what we're going to do. We're not going to have enough time to do it all, but I want to introduce it to you at least right now. There are 3x5 cards on most of y'all's tables. You can do this later. What I'd like you to do, though, and you can do this back at home, take the cards with you, is set up your own ox cart technique for whatever goal it is. Now, if that goal, and I really recommend your relationship being the first one you do, because nothing else matters without your relationship. But you can do it for business, whatever it is. I want you to set up a failure scenario on one of those cards. What does it look like if you do not reach your goal? Ooh, wait a minute. Think about it. That hurts, doesn't it? If you don't reach that goal, that hurts, doesn't it? It should, because that will kick you in the butt. You write that out, and there's some subtle nuances in the book, but this is good enough for right now. Next, write out your action plan. I have done this for my marriage, of course. And I've got this action plan of things that I want to make sure I keep doing to make sure I keep a happy marriage. I did this for my goals for my business. I set up a failure scenario. I set up my action plan. And I set up my success scenario. Now let me tell y'all how I start each day and how I finish it. Every single day, I look at my failure scenario and I read it out loud. And it scares me, guys. It scares me. It kicks me in the butt. It gives me that extra boost that I need to take the action in my action plan every single day. And after I've done that, I read my success scenario. And I can tell you that motivates me like nothing else. And then every single day at the end of it, I take a look at my action plan. Did I do what I was supposed to do? Go and hit the next one. If I didn't, I go closer to my failure scenario. If I did, I go closer to my success scenario. Are y'all with me on that? Does that make sense? It's so powerful. It absolutely works. Now, go ahead. Now, what I've done is I've got some of the books out there, plus my public speaking book and my network marketing books. They're out there. They're on the table. It's honor system. There's a can there. If you want to buy them, $20, put it in there. But I want to be able to spend my time with you guys. But they're out there for you if you're interested. Okay? Now, I want to leave you with just two last thoughts as we're looking at time. Failure seems to be the thing that scares the most people. Failure seems to be the thing that holds people back. So I'd like to read something about failure, and I hope this means something to you as it did to me. Failure is not something to cower from or fear. Failure is not some great giant that can overpower you and take away your will to fight. You will stand up strong in the face of failure and scream with all your courage and might. You may have seized the moment, but you will not seize the day. As long as there's breath in my lungs and blood in my veins, I have been given the power to succeed, and succeed I will. You cannot conquer my hope. You cannot smother my dreams. I accept and I take responsibility for the actions or inactions that gave you power temporarily. Now I take back that power because it's mine to yield and no one else's. I know that you will follow me on my journey to success, tempting me to stumble and hoping that I do. But if I fail, I will get up and press on. If I rest, it will only be to gain the strength to climb the next mountain that I must climb. And if I look back to see you, it will only be to give me the steel of will to press on, no matter the obstacles you put in my way. I see you. I rebuke you. Now get behind me so I may see my way once again to victory. I'd like to play you one last video as I shut down today. Thank you.